Hello and welcome to another weekly update. So the big thing this week for me was a blog post I put out around the Office 365 roadmap. So you may or may not remember, a couple of weeks ago I told you that the Office 365 roadmap, which we've known about for a couple of years, it's been really useful, and it's been migrated into the Microsoft 365 roadmap. Now, what does that mean practically? Not very much changes. You can still use the roadmap to find out about the things that Microsoft are working on, the things that the teams inside Microsoft, the different product teams for the different parts of Office are working on. You can see the features that are in development, the features that are being rolled out, and the features that are fully launched. And you can kind of do some filtering and searching, breaking it down by different types of products and all the rest of it. The move over from Office 365 roadmap into Microsoft 365 roadmap doesn't really change that, but it kind of expands a little bit the offering. So you can now also look at things that's happening in Windows, things that are happening across Azure, and there's some other filtering as well, because it now covers Azure, it now covers different kind of cloud instances. So you've got the general kind of Azure cloud that most people are on, and then you've got the specifics for things like education, government, some country specific stuff as well. So that's useful. I talked about it a couple of weeks ago. It's good for admins to have a kind of a single pane of glass for this stuff. One of the things that is new in the Microsoft 365 roadmap is that there's now an RSS feed. And when I spoke about this before, I said, oh, the RSS feed is fine, it's great, it's good, and it's a useful thing to have. But if you only care about kind of a subset of all the things that are changing, so let's say you're really into Microsoft Teams and you want to just track the things that are changing in Microsoft Teams, there's not an easy way to do that with a single RSS kind of roadmap feed, because the RSS feed is just going to tell you about everything across Microsoft 365 that's changing. And so I kind of got to thinking, well, is there something I can do to make that more useful? And it turns out there is, and that's the blog post I put out this week. So what I'm doing is allowing you to create your own customized RSS feeds based off of Microsoft's RSS feed that allow you to filter by a specific product or a combination of factors. So it might be a specific product and a specific status. So Microsoft Teams features that are in development, or Microsoft Teams features that are rolling out might be a really useful thing for IT admins. So there's a blog post that shows you and gives you a load of links that you can, if you don't want to understand how it works and how to build up your own links, you can just scroll down a bit and find ready to go links for all the Office products, for Windows, for all, like the majority of the stuff that's on the Microsoft 365 roadmap. You can see them for rolling out, launched in development statuses as well. And then I go into some detail about how you can build your own. Basically, you add filters across the URL. So you start with the base URL, and then you sort of slash Microsoft Teams if that's what you're interested in, slash in development, and then you've got Teams in development. Or you could just take out the Microsoft Teams bit and have just slash in development, and then you'll just get everything that's in development. So you can kind of build up your filters as you go. It was an interesting kind of little project for me to work on as well. It was a fun way to kind of figure out how best to do that at scale. So I don't want to, that URL lives in Azure. I don't want to do a lot of processing. I also don't want to cache any of that data. So I want you to have the most up-to-date version of the RSS feed as well. I don't want to be taking a cache of that RSS feed and then feeding it out to you, because it's going to get out of sync and out of date. So I need to be able to take a live feed from the RSS, like the RSS URL, and then filter it in memory and give you back a kind of cut down version of that RSS feed in a way that your RSS readers will still be happy with. So it was a fun little challenge to look at, kind of a bit of a foray into serverless computing as well. So that's how I'm doing it. I'm doing it in Azure behind the scenes. It was a fun little thing to look at. So have a look at that. If that sounds like it would be useful as well, then go and make some RSS feeds. Yes, so that was kind of the big thing in my week. Other things that happened this week. So Skype for Business Server 2019 is now GA. So that happened. Good news. As a developer, I don't think there's an awful lot changing, to be honest, in this version of 2019. We've already talked about what's new. We've already talked about what's depreciated. I think Persistent Chat is officially depreciated. So the Persistent Chat SDKs are now, I think, officially depreciated. Doesn't mean they won't work, but it does mean they're depreciated. I haven't seen anything come out about updated versions of UCWAR or any of the client SDKs or anything like that. I will keep looking. I just don't think they've hit yet. I'm vaguely aware that. So I've looked a bit at the 2019 download because it's an ISO, so you can kind of crack it open and have a look at it. There are references to a newer version of UCWAR. UCMA, so UCMA 6. But there's no SDK that I'm aware of yet. So the runtime for UCMA 6 is in the bits for 2019. So yeah, maybe there is an updated SDK coming down the pipe, but I'm not aware of one. I don't think it's available today. But you know, everything that used to work should still work with this version. So kind of no change, steady as she goes, really, for the majority of Skype for Business on-premise developers. Other news, so you may have seen this, you may not. So Tbot is going away. So Tbot is the bot that lives in Teams that tries to help users by answering their questions and pointing them towards relevant help material. And it was kind of a cool thing when it came in Teams. It was kind of new worldy. You know, this is how the future's going to look like. It's all bots, it's all apps, and here's Tbot to kind of show you how it works. Yeah, it's being killed off. It's being replaced by kind of standard help pages. So, you know, kicks off to a website and then you use that website to find the information you want. I'm not sure how I feel about this, really. There's a bit of me that thinks, well, bots aren't always the right answer, and if all you're using your bot for is a delivery mechanism to information that users can find better and be better serviced elsewhere, then the bot's not the right answer. But at the same time, I think maybe they could have made it work. So a lot of the documentation pages behind the scenes at Microsoft are changing. They're moving on to a newer platform. So I wonder if maybe there's a bit of like the disconnect there. You know, maybe Tbot isn't immediately compatible with the new help files and the new help documentation, and the Teams platform team don't really want to invest the time in updating it because it was only ever meant to be like a little fun thing anyway. You know, they don't want to sort of take people off real kind of features just to update Tbot with its latest help files and stuff. So maybe that's a part of it as well. But it's a good reminder that, you know, if you are launching bots into the world, they do need looking after on a kind of maintenance basis. They do need keeping fresh. You need to make sure they're continuing to serve their users, and if they're not, then you need to reevaluate. You know, maybe not enough people use Tbot, so that's the reevaluation. So yeah, it's interesting to see it happening. I don't really fall into the camp of, hey, does this mean bots aren't the answer to everything? I don't think it means that at all. I just think it means that maybe in this case they're not the right answer, or maybe they are the right answer, but it's additional work, it's additional effort, and you know, it's not a good use of time. So yeah, maybe that's what it was. Who knows? But anyway, Tbot's going away. And finally, bit of kind of weekend reading for you. So Azure is 10 years old this month, which is amazing. Thinking about it, you can't imagine a world now in which Azure wasn't a really strong part. But I can also still remember Azure being launched. I remember Red Dog and all that kind of stuff. So Mary Jo Foley has a good article just kind of going through a potted history of what that looked like, and what that looks like today, and kind of the differences and what we thought it was going to be and what it panned out to be. And you know, it's kind of an interesting kind of light read for your weekend. All right, that's everything from me. Nearly at time, so have a great weekend, and I will talk to you again next time.